Escape from Tarkov has just wiped and Shoreline has been expanded a hell of a lot, so in this video we are going to be talking about the best loot spots for you to loot in the new Shoreline map. Now, I'm going to be going in quite in depth in this video, but if there is anything that I did miss out that you know of, please put it down in the comments and help everyone in the community out. A couple of things to note before we get started. I'll be using this map that you can see on screen. It'll also be linked in the description for you. It is basically probably one of the best maps we can get for the new expanded Shoreline at the time of this recording. So I'll link it for you. It's not the best, but it's accurate enough for you to find your way around. And another thing is I am going through this video with 0 keys for Shoreline. So all of these loot spots you can get to without having a single key for the new Shoreline map. So it is going to be for people that are hatchlings that just want to get a quick bit of loot and get out. Now obviously you can go to the old places like Scav Island and the mansions. Now a quick thing to note about the mansions is looking at them front on, the right side mansion you cannot get into unless there is a key for it, but like I said, I don't have any keys for the new Shoreline, so I wouldn't know. But I checked all of the doors on the ground floor that you used to be able to get into, and you can't get into them anymore. However, you can get into the left side mansion, and that still has the gun lockers and the safe inside it, so it's worth a look if you are heading past that way. So the first new place we will be going is the observation station. Now this is just northwest of the CCP temporary extraction point, if you know where that is, but pretty much you can see that from basically anywhere. It's a massive radio station, you can hardly miss it. But inside this observation station there will be an office, a radio tower and a truck. Inside the offices there is a safe, a med bag, PC and 3 filing cabinets. There's a lot of food in there as well, so because this map's so big I recommend picking up the food and water so you don't dehydrate. But inside the safe there's actually a really high chance of rollers spawning. Most of the time I've actually been there's been a roller inside the safe as well as a shit ton of money. In the med bag it's always a good thing to pick up any meds you can find, especially on a map this big. The PC is always good for graphics cards, and the filing cabinets, well you know with the drill with them, get some keys out of them bad boys. Just outside the offices there is a truck. On the truck there is a green wooden box as well as a green weapon box, so just loot them. Every time I've been there hasn't been a weapon inside them, but you know, just loot them anyway because that's where a weapon can spawn. Inside the tower itself there is a little office up top and there is a grenade box in there. And on top of the grenade box, it doesn't spawn there all the time, but there is a key spawn there too. So it's always good to check on there and get yourself a key for what is mainly the resort on this map. So the next location we'll be going to is the water treatment plant that is just west of the observation station. Inside there isn't actually a huge amount. There's a couple of toolboxes on the bottom floor and a couple on the second floor as well, but the main reason I'm including this is there is 2 green weapon boxes behind 2 locked doors on the second floor, and they are locked. However, I'm including this because I have seen a couple of people be able to jump from the rafters into the window, so that is the only reason I'm including it, because you can technically, with enough trying and enough effort, get inside the office and get the weapon crates. And if you can't get the weapon crates, no fear, because the original grenade box is just across the little bridge, and that's been there since Shoreline was actually released in the first place, so you know, you all know where that is anyway. So the final place that you can get good loot is the resort itself. Now the resort is absolutely huge, and we kind of saw that before the map got expanded when you could see little glimpses of it as you were going to the northern extract. But now we can actually go inside it, and to be honest it can confuse a lot of people, especially because the original map that we got given for Shoreline doesn't show the resort off in very much detail. So I went ahead and quickly jotted down sort of a bird's eye view of what the resort looks like on Microsoft Paint, and as you can see it goes into sort of a triangle with a helipad right at the bottom. So I'm going to be splitting this section into 4 stages. We're going to be starting with the helipad because it is outside and easy to get to. Then we're going to go all the way to the top to the main block, and then we're going to go to the east wing, and then we're going to finish the video with the west wing. There is going to be a hell of a lot of places in here, so if I have missed anything, just put it down below in the comments and help the community out like I said earlier. But these are all the places that I know of within this resort without having to use keys or anything like that. So I'll try and go as slow as possible to not to confuse you, but if I do, I apologize. If you need any help, just comment down below and I'll try and talk you through it that way. But anyway, let's get started with the helipad. So the helicopter in itself is actually a really good loot spot if you just want to go to the helicopter and get out. It has a weapons rack in there which usually spawns around 1 to 2 weapons in it, and you actually have a weapons box right inside there as well, which can spawn some really good weapon attachments and even some weapons that I've seen there in the past as well. Just north of the helicopter as well, there is a little van sort of vehicle that has a bandage in the back and a medical bag as well for all your medical supplies, and I found a hell of a lot of grizzlies in there actually, so keep looking in there. If that's the only thing you do for the resort, I would just go to the helicopter, go to the medical van and get the hell out of there. So there's good loot there either way. Now let's head to the main block. So now we're outside the main block. If we go into the front doors and go up the stairs, underneath the welcome to hell sign there's a cash register, so you can get some rubles and maybe some dollars out of that. If we go up to the second set of stairs and go through the door just to the left, you'll enter the concert room. In here is plenty of food and drink, so make sure you pick that up. And as well as on the chair in the front row, there is a key spawn for one of the rooms in the actual wings. So after you've looked at that key, if you go to the back of the room, you'll enter some offices. There is a PC in the tiny little office, and then if you enter the main room, there is a weapons box at the back of the room, as well as 4 more computers at each of the desks. So it is worth looking at just to get some graphics cards and maybe even a weapon out of the weapons box. If we use these stairs for reference again and we go up to the second floor and turn right, there is 2 doors worth going in. Inside door number 1, the closed door, we can actually open it and go into what is a pool play games room thing. On top of the pool table there could be a gun spawning on there, as well as a table at the back of the room where the Escape from Tarkov poster is. It can actually spawn there as well. You can also loot the green wooden box, and then if we enter the second room, there is 3 filing cabinets that you can loot, as well as a locked safe, but money could be on top of it. If we use these stairs yet again, but instead of going right, we go left and go down the corridor, there is actually 3 rooms that we can go in. Inside each of these rooms there's nothing really special. There's computers, it's mainly just offices. There's some locked safes and there's some busted open safes. Make sure you look for money around the safe area, because that is where money will spawn. But other than that, inside here, inside each of these offices, nothing really to look for other than computers and safes. Using the stairs again, but instead of going up the stairs, just turn left or right. You can go into the theatre. Now this is a full-on cinema room, so perfect for all your resorting needs. There's plenty of food and drink in here as well, so stock up on that, because you can be in the resort for a very, very, very long time. So if we go to the back of the theatre, you can actually see a dead scav, so you can pick up all of his gubbins as well. Back at the stairs again, but if we go down the stairs, and you can go either left or right, it'll take you into the same place. You'll enter what looks like a kitchen sort of area. If you go behind the kitchen counter, you can actually see there's a cash register. There's one on either side, left or right. And if you go to the back of the kitchen, head down the stairs, again, both left and right ways can do this. You'll enter what looks like a pantry. So if you go to the pantry, and you can actually stock up on food in here. This is where the main food spawns. There's loads of rooms filled with crackers, meats, everything really. It's just an absolute food gold mine in here. as well as there is a little sports bag that you can loot as well. So now moving on to the east wing. To get to the east wing, you can either walk through the kitchen and go through the glass tunnel, or do what I do and just smash through the windows. So in the actual glass tunnel itself, there isn't much to go for. There's just a couple of food items and stuff like that. But when you enter the main bit of the east wing, there is a green wooden container, and then there is also a dead scav on the floor as well. So after that, and you continue heading down the corridor, pay attention to this stairway here, because this is the stairway I'm going to be referencing throughout each and every floor in this video. But on this floor itself, the ground floor, there isn't much to go for. There's a hell of a lot of medical bags if you need medical supplies, and there's actually, if you get a key from the concert room in the main block, that'll open the room 107 on this floor in the east wing, and there is a hell of a lot of medical supplies in here. But other than that, there's nothing else. So let's move on to the second floor, and if we take a left from the stairs and keep heading down the corridor right to the end before the actual connector tunnel, if you go to the door on the left, there is actually a dead scav in here. As well as a dead scav, you get quite a lot of things to loot in this one. You get a sports bag as well as a weapon container. So if we go back to the stairs, but instead of going left, we're going to go right from the stairway and head down the corridor. And if down the main corridor, if you take the first door on the left, which is open, you can actually go in here, and there is 2 weapon containers as well as a medical bag in here as well. Continuing down the corridor, this very same corridor, mind the hole in the floor, but just after the hole in the floor there is actually another weapon container on the table. After that, keep heading down almost to the end, just past a pile of trash bags. If you go in here, there's actually one last weapon container. So now if we go up to the 3rd floor, just off of the stairway, you are greeted by 2 more weapon containers. So if we open them up, you usually get mainly weapon attachments and bullets in these, but I have seen AKs spawn in here as well. So going down the corridor on the left again, if we just keep going down all the way to the end, there is no doors to loot, but if we go all the way to the end, you actually are greeted with something rather nice. A pool table, and on that pool table is a gun spawn. Here, as you can see, I got an AK-74N. There has been reports of M4s spawning here as well by my friends and people I play with. But just behind the pool table, there's actually a dead scav in this room as well. So loot him, get all of his gubbins as well. So if we go back to the stairs and we take a right instead of going down the stairs, if you keep going down until you see a load of candles on the floor, you actually become to a mark room sort of looking thing with a dead scav with a pig head on. Now, I've not actually seen anything good spawn here, however, there's a dead scav, so you might as well loot him, see if there's anything actually in him for you guys, but personal experience, I've never seen anything here. Now, if you go all the way to the end of the 3rd floor on the right, you can actually go up another set of stairs, which will then take you to a roof, which is just a good sniping position overall, really. Now, we got to finish off with the west wing. So once again, the glass corridor doesn't have anything in it but a bit of food supplies, but if you continue out of this main hallway here and continue down the corridor, the first set of stairs you see are the stairs I'll be referencing in this section. But continuing on down the corridor past the stairs right to the end, you haven't missed anything apart from a couple of medical bags if you want to check them in the rooms, but there is a sofa and there is another weapon spawn on the left hand side of the sofa. So pick up that weapon if the weapon spawns there and continue up to the 2nd floor. So on the 2nd floor itself, there isn't anything to the right, so go left and continue into the first room out onto the balcony. There is a green weapons box. After that, just jump over the barbed wire, don't be a pussy, and as soon as you jump over the barbed wire, turn right and go into the room that's got an open door, and there is another weapon spawn inside the fallen over shower. So pick that shit up and move on. Continue on and go to the door just before a barricade of suitcases near the end of the corridor, and once you've done that, check the table just where the open door is on the balcony. There is another weapon spawn. And that, for reference, is 224, the room, just so you know. I thought I'd be smart and actually include that in this time. So there's nothing else on the second floor, so continue up to the third floor. And once again, there isn't really anything on the third floor. You can check just for sports bags, and there's food supplies, some of them, but nothing really major. But you might find a couple of meds, but other than that, there is nothing really up here. But if you want to be cool, you can actually go downstairs in the West Wing. If you go to the front exit, where there is double doors, at the double doors right outside at the front, you can actually go down the stairs this time. So if you go down the stairs into this sort of underground basement-y bit, you'll actually encounter an all-inclusive gym. There isn't really anything in here either but a couple of sports bags, but there is a couple of green wooden boxes in here as well if you wanted to loot for anything in them. But other than that, nothing really of value here either. So after that, you can continue up the stairs onto the roof again, or you can go outside and go out the outside stairway like I did in this video. But on this rooftop on the West Wing is where the good shit is at. There is a weapon spawn up here, as well as I think 4 or 5 weapon containers and a couple of green wooden boxes as well. So plenty of stuff up here for you to come and check out. And it's out. You can access it from the outside as well, so you could do this at day and night time, really. But anyway, guys, that is basically it. There's a couple of extra things, like at the Road to Customs extract, there's a grenade box. But other than that, nothing really more to say about Shoreline. These are the main loot spots, and I hope you guys gained some knowledge out of this video. It took me a hell of a lot of time to make, so if you did gain some knowledge, drop a like on the video. It'll show your appreciation greatly. Leave a comment, like I said earlier, if there is anything extra that we haven't picked up on in this video that you know of for the community. But other than that, guys, I love you all. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.